Alright, how's it going? I hope everyone's keeping safe and well out there. Big thanks to Cliffman and Sneak Era for asking to take part in the story Takeover. My name is Darragh, just do runners on Instagram from Dublin. Been collecting trainers, runners as I call them, since about 2017. Got back involved really when the one of my favourite retros of runners was released, the Air Max 97 Silver Bullet. I would have owned the OG Silver Bullet when it was first released in '97, and some of the other original Nike trainers as well. Really, you could say I'm collecting 3 years, but really, you could say I've been involved with runners. It's always a big thing growing up. Even moving on then to if you did the rave scene in the '90s, everybody wore Air Max going into town, going out, and it was just part of the culture. But that's kind of enough about me. And we're really here to look at the collection and at the trainers. So let's move on to that now. So this is my collection, actually in its entirety. I currently own 34, 35 pairs of runners. That's down quite a bit. If you go back to about 2 years ago, I had over 50 in the collection, and they were all Nike, just all red boxes. I wasn't really interested in collecting anything else other than Air Max. Over the past 2 years, and particularly this year, and particularly since lockdown, I've started clearing out an awful lot of stuff that wasn't getting too much wear, and there was just a lot of DS stuff there that wasn't getting a chance to wear. So, I wanted to clear out and make room, and just, I think, to be honest, 30 pairs is probably enough. I work in an office Monday to Friday. I don't get to wear my stuff as much as I like, and even in lockdown I was finding I wasn't getting to wear my stuff as much as I like. The other thing I wanted to kind of work on a bit as well was brand diversity. I wanted to kind of move away from, not just having all Nike in the collection, but there's so many other brands that are out there, because I think particularly in Dublin for me it was all about just Nike, Adidas. Never really looked too much further than that. But I mean, if you look, I still want to keep it true to the OG, to the Nike stuff. If you look at like my OG collection, the Air Max 180, not the same shape and air bubble as we had back in the day, but still, I'm delighted to have these type of shoes in my collection. Like I never thought I'd have them back again. Air Max 93, I can remember a pal of mine back in the 90s. He would have rocked these for the entire summer in '93, and it's really one of the great memories from my childhood that I can remember as regards Nikes. The BWs are, the classics, basically, as we call them. If you were living in Dublin in the '90s and someone said to you, I'm going into town to get a pair of classics, everybody knew this was the shoe you were going in to buy. Moving on then, as I said, the '98s, I'll probably come back to that later. The '97s, this was the one that got me back in it. And again, this shoe, I bought this shoe in '97, and I only had it for 2 weeks, and the white rim across here started to wear it off, and I had to bring the shoe back to the store, and they didn't have my size, so I never got it back again. Roll on 20 years later, and it came back out for the anniversary, and it was only then I realised, that a lot of these retros were available, and in my opinion, I'd rather have them in the versions that they are in than not have them. That's my opinion. Moving on then to some of the other brands. New Balance, that's a brand that I'm starting to buy an awful lot at the moment. Quality is just amazing. So as I said, my taste has kind of changed, evolved over the last year or two, and it's more about quality over quantity for me now at the moment. Looking at other brands like Kangaroos, there's a brand that, I did have a pair of these in the 80s, but they were nothing like this. This Overkill Adams, absolutely beautiful. Quality is amazing. Best materials, best leather, and it still has the little kangaroo pocket there. Handmade in Germany, and there's only a certain amount of these that are actually made, and they are one of my favourite brands to buy. Diodora is another one. Again, the quality. These respect over hates. Probably one of my favourite shoes. Great mix of materials, colours, kangaroo leather, suede, and anything with a gold tip lace. Anything by 24 Calates. Just amazing. Hannon always knocking it out of the park with their collabs. I mentioned 24 Calates. This one, XFU collaboration. I went all the way to the store in Barcelona to actually pick this up. Unfortunately, the store has closed down since. I wanted to visit again this year, but that would be one of my best sneaker pickups or great sneaker stories, I suppose. And I mean, then the hype stuff. I've got the shower ones in the corner. Air Max 1s, my favourite silhouette. I don't remember them being a big hit in Dublin in the 90s. The Air Max 1 was more about Air Max 90s, the BWs, the 93s, 94s, the 180s. And they would have been all the ones that I can remember from back in the day. The Atmos Animals, beautiful, as good as it gets from a Nike shoe, in my opinion. And the Water Safaris as well, dead stock, haven't worn those yet. Size, exclusive. One of the best Air Max ones, without a doubt, in my opinion. And as I say, I love the Air Max ones, there's so many there. The OG Reds, one of my favourites. The Air Max 1 Pompidou, Anniversary Aquas. Air Max 1 Dynamic Berries, one of the brighter colourways that I own. And there's just so many good ones. So hard to choose from the collection. I actually won the FU raffle in 2019, and that was not a raffle to buy the shoe. It was actually won the shoe outright, a free package sent over to me with a special box and everything. So massive shout outs to a few for that one. I've only actually ever won 2 raffles, and they were both with a few. One was the Orange Koi, and the other one was the few Stay Foolish Hummel collaboration. This was my first ever raffle win, and Hummel again, a brand that I only have one pair of Hummels, but it's a brand I would have known back in the 80s, 1986 World Cup. The Danish made the Danish jersey, made the Spurs jersey, but not a very common brand that you would see around, and to be honest, I probably only got that one because it was in a few collab. But like I said, that's a quick scan, quick overview of the collection as it is. But like I said, that's a quick, and I suppose we'll move on to picking 3 to talk about, and then one of my favourite sneaker stories, probably the Air Max 98. So I've just picked 2 more trainers from the collection that I haven't spoken about already to have a more detailed look at. Could have picked any 2, but these are the 2 that I've picked on as the Kangaroos Playmaker. Released in 2018 to commemorate the 2018 World Cup. So straight away, interested in football. That caught my interest. I was very interested in Kangaroos, the brand at the time. So, I mean, just taking, a bit of a more detailed look, the shoe, the colourway of the shoe is based on the Russian flag, so red, blue, and this is more of an off-white or a beige colour. You can see the Kangaroo logo there is in gold. Again, that's sort of representing the World Cup itself. But I mean, if you look at the shoe from the heel, it's red for the Russian flag, the gold Kangaroos logo, and then the navy toe box, perforated toe box as well. I always like a perforated toe box. It was like one negative, the brush, the suede is kind of not a very premium feel to the suede on the shoe. But when this, you have to remember, this is not even a collab, this is just a general release. Sits on top of the diamond coil midsole technology, and that I believe is used by NASA for shock absorption, and a gum sole as well on the shoe. Always love a gum sole. Only 510 pairs of these. If you look at another detail there on the shoe that I love, it's the tongue and the inside of the shoe line. It's in like a gold colour, again representing the World Cup, and you can just make it out there. The camera's picking up 305 out of 510 made. I mean, it's all the extras as well that you get with this brand, like the box itself, green box like a football pitch. Every country that took part has their flag on the box. And then another great thing you get with most Kangaroos releases is the extras. 2 extra sets of gold tipped laces. Little picture of the shoe there, and a whistle, even a whistle, and the cards representing each of the collaborations that have been released by Kangaroos, which I thought was a nice touch because it kind of reminds me of collecting Panini stickers when I was a kid, watching the World Cup growing up and stuff like that. And then an actual main picture of the shoe as well. So overall, fantastic release, one that you don't see a whole lot of around, and that's the one I've picked for a more detailed look. So after this we move on to another one, which is a Saucony release, Lapstone and Hammer, and we'll move on and take a closer look at that one now. So this is the second shoe I've chosen to have a detailed look. It is the Saucony Courageous Mock, collaboration with Lapstone and Hammer. Lapstone and Hammer are a sneaker boutique based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Saucony is also a brand that was founded in Pennsylvania. So this is the shoe itself, and when I seen it first I thought, yes, it's definitely something different, but again it was the materials that attracted me to this. I haven't seen an awful lot. That's the connection there between the two. So let's take a look at the details. A lot of people on my feed, on Instagram or anything, that actually picked this up. I wasn't even aware of it myself. It released in the US first very recently, and then I had a wider European release afterwards. But if you look, even like at the heel, the heel is made from Hawaiian leathers. Sock liner is leather, and then it's kind of got this Sherpa tongue liner, and it's got 2 different kind of types of suede, like a rough, long-haired grey suede, and then black suede on the toe box. The camera's not really picking up too well, but like probably the best detail of the shoe itself is the mock, or the moccasin toe box, and it's a nod to the Native American culture from which the name Saucony is derived. It's also hand stitched, like a whip stitch I believe it's called, and there isn't very many shoes nowadays that are actually handmade or hand stitched. Just moving down then to the midsole, there's its cork insert feature as well in the midsole, and it's finished with a ripple tooth gum outsole. So overall, really nice shoe. Does come with leather laces as well, and I can see why they went with that, with the moccasin concept. I'll probably swap them out for this set of waxed tipped laces. Well, now let me know what you think it is. Overall, bit of a Marmite shoe maybe, but definitely something different, and really nice quality and materials used on these. So that is the Saucony Courageous Mock X Lapstone and Hammer. So that brings us along nicely to the third and final part. Basically one of my favourite sneaker stories, or most nostalgic, certainly, sneaker stories. The whole thing for me about collecting runners, there's a lot to do with nostalgia. Like, the whole reason I got back into it in the first place was trying to collect up some of the OG Nike releases that I would have had back in the day, and this is certainly one, the Air Max 98. I would have had this shoe in 1998 back in the day. I can remember, at the time, not really in love with this one, because it came behind 2 of the most successful Air Max releases, the 95 Neon and the 97 that I spoke about earlier. So it was not as good as the 97 for me at the time, maybe a little bit chunky. The upper colourway as well was different. suppose the things I remember about 1998 was the World Cup in France. I was 19 years of age, I think. I had moved in as well. I was renting a house with my girlfriend and my daughter. And my daughter was 2 at the time. And I suppose when I realised they were re-releasing these in 2018, I just had to pick them up. Didn't manage to miss the boat, kind of didn't manage to get them, but picked up a used pair off one of the lads on Sneakerheads Ireland Facebook page. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but shouts out to them if you're. It was a page that helped me a lot of good lads, great community on there. So if you're interested in collecting sneakers or looking for any help, and there's loads of lads on there that will give you a dig out. So one thing that kind of strikes me is about the digital age now. There's plenty of photographs and pictures on Instagram and what have you of people's collections, but there is very few pictures of the. I remember David Beckham famously getting sent off in the second round of the World Cup against Argentina, and of course France went on to win the World Cup that year, and colourway, strangely enough, is one of the French colours. Original releases from that time, but I knew, having a baby around that time and moving into the house, I knew there were some pictures floating around somewhere, so I dug them out. So this, I don't know if you can make it, it's not that great. This is me in 1998, outside the house there with my daughter. She's 2 years of age. And I know if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this story quite a few times, but you can clearly see anyway there that I'm wearing the OG Air Max 98s. And I suppose you fast forward to the anniversary of 2018, and funny enough, France won the World Cup again that year. But I just asked my daughter if she wouldn't mind posing for a little photograph with me, and we sort of recreated the picture in 2018. So that is my favourite sneaker story. Certainly my most nostalgic one. Not my favourite silhouette or OG silhouette by a long way, but it is certainly one of the things that got me back interested in collecting, and it's a lot to do with the nostalgia and about where we were when we had these trainers and who we were with at the time. So that is the end of my sneaker takeover story. Hope you enjoyed the collection. If you want to see some on-feet shots or whatever, check out @JustDoRunners on Instagram. Just want to say a massive thanks to Sneaker again for inviting me on. Can't wait to see who's up next. Looking forward to that, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. And until then, thanks for watching. Bye.